Okay, so welcome to this video where I will show you how to use thresholders to quickly create annotations for your images in QuPath. So I have two images here, one bright field and one for fluorescence. Those two images, you will get the link to get them in the description of the video. So those are publicly available. When you want to create quickly an annotation to define a region, well, you can do it by using those tools here or drawing a region if it's not too precise. If you don't expect a precise result, it can be quickly done like that. But if you want to have something reproducible, or if you want to have maybe an unbiased selection, a thresholder is a good idea. So in order to do that, as the name implies, you will have to set up somewhere a threshold. So what we mean about threshold is a value that represents the data you want to select. So if you look at this image, currently it's displayed in color, so it's an RGB image. And at the bottom right of the screen here, you will see three values. Those are the three R, G, and B values. So here I'm currently above a white area, so the three values are similar. But if I go somewhere else, you can see those values are changing. So in this case, red, green, or blue will not help us select the region we want. So what we can do is go to show brightness contrast here, and since QuPath allows you to separate the channels by staining, you can use, for instance, the hematoxylin channel. Let me just adjust a bit the display here so that we can see something. And let's set the goal is to select the whole disk here of this tissue, sample. You can hover now, and if you look down at the screen here again, you will see a value that is now unique and represents the intensity for this hematoxylin channel only. So let's say we want to select something that has a value above 0.1, something like this. 0.1 should work. So this will be our target value for the hematoxylin channel. So let's try it. So to create a thresholder, you go to classify, pixel classification, and create thresholder. Yeah. So first of all, you have to select the proper channel here, so hematoxylin, and then set the correct value. So by default here, let me just go back quickly here, you will have everything set to 0, and probably, yeah, the lowest resolution here. I will go back to that in a moment. So just to show you here how it works, the threshold we have measured is something around 0.1, so let's input that here. You can use the arrows here. It seems that broke a bit, sorry for the delay. And here you want to select a class, so a class that is available from the list of the classes here. So I have some remaining classes from another project here, but for the sake of this demonstration, we will use something convenient like region here. And with the current setting, you can see here in blue what will be selected. So the big squares here are due to the very low resolution we have selected here. So if I downsample a bit less here, something like this, or maybe moderate, I will get a much more precise representation of the selection. here, and what I see is that maybe the 0.1 threshold is a bit too high. So let's decrease this a bit, something like this, 0.7. I have a negative threshold here, sorry, so 0.7. Can input the value like this. Should do the trick a bit better. So there is still many holes here, and it's a bit noisy if we speak about selection. So we can smooth this out by using a Gaussian filter for pre-filtering. So we can just try by increasing a bit the sigma value here, and for instance here with those values 4.5 and this threshold, we get something that is quite nice and accurately represents the signal we want to use. So if this is your goal, now what you can do, as long as your image is part of a project, you can save your classifier. So let's call this BF classifier here, and save it. And from that, now you can create objects. So let's create annotation. So there is currently no parent object since I haven't made any selections before. So it will be from the full image here, and here we can use this dialog to filter out the different objects here. So if you hover here, you can see that you have some nice tools here, because for instance here we still have a few holes that we might want to fill. So we have to put a value, let's say 1000 here. Currently this doesn't work on my computer. So if you want to have an idea on how large you want to set up the hole size, the minimum hole size, let me just quickly go out from here, and you can just draw a region like this, an annotation, and just look at the area. Yeah, so it's 15,000, something like that. So if I use, let's say, the double 30,000, it should be okay. So let's delete this quickly and go back to pixel classification, and here we can just load our pixel classifier since it was saved here, and use the create object from the full image, and use 30,000 pixels square here as a minimum hole size. If we had debris that were selected here, we could probably eliminate them by using this this parameter here, but here let's just leave this like that and press OK, and we have now a new annotation. So I can now close the classifier window here, and as you can see, this now, it's in yellow, is my new annotation. So in the same way, we can create another one with the other channel. So because the signal here is pretty different. So for instance, in the DAB channel, we could use a higher value of 0.2 or 0.3, something like that, to select only the dark areas here, and we can create a new thresholder. So let's do that again, and make sure to choose the right channel here. 0.2. Now my smoothing sigma is probably way too high, yeah, and the resolution is too small, so probably low should do the trick. And here let's choose 25, something like this. And here we can now use another name, so CIF DAB classifier. Let's save it, and in the same way as before, we can create objects, but here we will have multiple objects. So and we can also create objects uniquely from the selection. So since I've already done a selection using the previous region, the previous annotation, we can do this from that, or here we just use the full image again. We want to fill only the small holes, so 20,000 maybe is okay. And if we want to separate the objects here, we can do it right here, split objects, but we could also do that later on in a second step. So let's just do it like that, press OK, and we can close this now. So if I use now this object, you can see that there is only one object, but if I right click, edit single and split, I have now access to the individual objects. So just delete this region, it's stupid. If I double click here, now I have one region, another one, and another one. So this is a really quick way to create a thresholder and create annotations. I can maybe show you quickly how it's done on fluorescent images, but it's really similar here. So let me just switch to this image here. So again, it's a demo image here. So if you want to select let's say those I don't know if it's glomerula or something like that. So if you want to select that, we just enable only the channel that is accurately representing the regions we want to measure. Here I will proactively just have a rough idea of the area I want to filter, so something about 2000 micron square should do the trick. And now that I know that, I will create another thresholder based on the AF488 value, where everything should be around, let's say, 1000 or something like that, and voila, should be done. Let's save this as fluo classifier. Okay, and you can create objects, and the minimum object size here, we don't want to fill holes, is, so it says pixel square. I'm not sure if it's the right value, we'll try it. Was, if I remember correctly, 2000. We will see if this works. Let's create the annotation. Yeah. So if I select them, now I have only the big glomerula. Something like that should work. So here you go. This is how to use thresholders, and in the next video I will show you starting from this how to maybe do a quick automation that could help you speed up a bit more your processing. So thank you for listening, and if you have questions, don't hesitate as always. Bye bye.